Alright everybody, welcome to episode 144 of Psycho's Platters. This is Paul here, aka Psycho, going off and giving you another, hopefully weekly installment of the favorite show that I really like to do for you guys in the VC. Wearing today actually something that I picked up on my Chicagoland trip. I managed to find for $2.99 a Beatles Let It Be shirt. I like that. Also, I want to go off and I want to give a shout out to my Canadian friends. Yes, my Canadian friends up there. Because my son happened to visit up in Canada last month, maybe 6 weeks back. And I said, hey, do me a favor. If you manage to be able to get up there, could you get me a Tim Hortons coffee mug? Yeah, that's what I'm drinking from today. A Tim Hortons coffee mug. I heard about how Tim Hortons pretty much is the Canadian equivalent of Krispy Kreme. Am I right about this? Tell me so, Canadian people, in the comments below. Needless to say, so I'm really happy to have this in my coffee mug collection. It's already gone off and given some people, huh? Alright, so listen, I thought I'd go off. I got a bunch of stuff over the next few episodes, but I wanted to focus on a little bit something current, okay? Like I mentioned before, I went to Chicagoland area. I went off and I had a really good trip. Some people said for me to describe my vacation, I call it the good, the bad, and the ugly, because I had a little bit of everything. Getting up there, I mean, I'm not kidding you. I would say totally, maybe half a day in road construction. It was completely ridiculous. But when I got up there, I was really happy. Compared to last year, I didn't find a lot of vinyl finds, but I'm going to show you what I got. How about that? Right off the bat, let's see. This is like going to be like a commercial. Hang on a second. I am so sorry. Hang on. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. First place I went to was a half-price book outlet. Now, I know up in Illinois, and I don't know where else there's half-price books, alright? So, I got this, and I thought I'd let you know that the all-new hpb.com, halfpricebooks.com, save 20% off on your first online order. How you do that, you ask? Well, you go and shop the hpb.com and use the coupon code MISCHIEF20. And save 20% on your first online order. Mischief20. All is one word. So go do that. I know, walking commercial, right? But I got to tell you something. The last few times that I've been to this half-price books outlet, there's an outlet store in Rockford, Illinois. I've actually picked up some really decent stuff. Last year was really good. This year was all right too. I only ended up finding a handful of 45s there. Usually the 45s are 10 cents. 10 cents a piece if you buy 10. I ended up picking up here one by one from Barry McGuire on Horizon Records. Now I gotta confess, I didn't know I've never heard of Horizon Records. But the reason why I grabbed it is because it actually says on the label, exclusively distributed by VJ Records out of Chicago. My best guess on this Horizon thing, Horizon was a VJ offshoot label, specifically in folk. Barry McGuire got his start in 1962 pretty much. He ended up in a duo called Barry and Barry, the other Barry being Barry Kane. Both of them ended up cutting an album for Verizon in later '62, and also in late '62 they both joined the New Christie Minstrels, which is where Barry would end up staying until '65. But like I said, this here wasn't on the album. This was a solo 45 of his. Notice how the Horizon logo looks a little bit, kind of looks a little familiar. At first I thought this was a weird Vertigo pressing, but I'm like, huh? Horizon used this logo? Kind of weird, right? So, and then the last little thing that I found, you know, I mean, yes, it's not in the best shape, but I think after cleaning up, hopefully it'll be playable. I'm into a lot of 50s and 60s music. This one here on Vic from July of '56 to 4 Winds with I'll Find Someone New. This is White Doo-Wop is what I'm led to believe. I cannot wait to check that out. Like I said, being a quarter a piece, that wasn't so shabby. The albums were a little bit better though. Start off with, right off the bat, and I mean most of these were in super duper clean condition. For March of '61, Bobby V. Now, if you know, some of you people have heard of Bobby V, but if you haven't, I'm going to give you a quick little history. He started out in 1959. He started out with Soma Records, is what he started out in, which was based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. He pretty much got started literally on February 3rd, 1959. I'll get to that in a second, though. In late '59, though, he ends up going to Liberty Records. Devil or Angel, which is on this album, is a remake of the Clovers hit. Bobby V, though, got it to number 6 on the charts. But yeah, like I said, February 3rd, 1959, Moorhead, Minnesota. That was the gig that Buddy Holly, Big Bopper, and Ritchie Valens were supposed to play next at the Winter Dance Party. But obviously, as we already know, in the early hours in the morning, they didn't make it. They crashed their plane in Clear Lake, Iowa. But the promoter decided, guess what? We're still going to have the gigs. So radio stations around the Moorhead and Minnesota area were begging for talent. They were doing this. And the next thing you know, Bobby Valine and a group called the Shadows, which was some kids from Fargo, North Dakota, they all got up on stage, and that pretty much was the start point of Bobby V's career. Here's the front, here's the back. I'll show you here. This is a nice, like I said, super clean copy on Liberty. I can't wait to actually listen to this. But a quick little trivia point: early in Bobby V's career, he had a player named Elston Gunn. Does that name sound familiar to you, by the way? Anybody out there? Maybe one of you? Who said that was a pseudonym for Robert Zimmerman? You get a gold star out there. Yeah, that's right. So Elston Gunn was a alias name for Robert Zimmerman, who of course would end up being Bob Dylan later in his career. Gee, too bad there wasn't any like live tapes of Elston, right? But you know what? To Bob, Bobby V was like always meant something to him. I think that's kind of cool, don't you think? So listen, next thing I mentioned in my last episode, you know how much of a Buddy Holly fan I am. Yeah, I found this at a half price at the Half Price Books. There was 2 copies of this thing, 2 of them, back to back. I'm like, what in the hell? I have been looking for a copy of this, and what I mean by that is a copy that has not been warped or trampled on by an elephant, or guess what? I find the cover and there's no record in it. I've been doing this now for in the last 10 years. That's exactly what has happened. I've come across half a dozen copies of this thing where it has just been, like I said, missing or god awful. Okay, here's the front, here's the back. This actually came out originally February 28, 1959. That's right. He wasn't even passed on a month, and Coral already put this thing out. The second copy that was behind this one, I wish I could tell you this was great, but as you can see, there is a seam split. But it takes up about a third of the album. But I could see the original sleeves in here, and I did get an original press. Yeah, it really does need to be cleaned, but I'm really just seeing basically there's a lot of scratches, but they're feather scratches. So I'm kind of praying that it'll just end up looking better. You know what I'm saying overall? Now I'm led to believe that the true original press on these things, the back is white and red. Maybe I'm confused about this, so I'm not entirely sure if I've got a first press or not. The second album that I found of this had a mid-60s Coral label, and I passed on that. I maybe should have grabbed that too, right, just for somebody else. But I don't know anybody else that's into Buddy Holly, at least in my area. So, different little teen idol. We had Bobby V was a teen idol. Buddy Holly was a teen idol too. Fabian, 16 fabulous hits on Chancellor. Here's the front, here's the back. Let me show you. I actually always liked this label. This is super clean. I could not believe this. But with Fabian, pretty much, this was pretty much his last swan song. Even though this came out in '62, he would end up signing a record contract at Dot Records in '63, but really didn't do anything with it. He ended up being an actor for like about the next 13, 14 years after that. But this particular here with the 16 fabulous hits, yes, it is a greatest hits compilation, but there's actually 2 new songs on here. Hong Kong is one of them, and Johnny Burnett's Just Keep On Going. So I thought that was kind of cool back then, anyway. That this was I'm reading. Tony, of course, had to write her name on these. Thanks, Tony. Thanks a lot. All right. To go from that to Cape Brothers. Some of you people may know who the Cape Brothers are, but believe it or not, other than Levon Helm and Ronnie Hawkins, this is the 3rd musical band to come out of Fayetteville, Arkansas, which is just about 20-25 minutes down the road from me. Here's the front, here's the back. I'm hoping, don't get me wrong, I've met the Cape Brothers before, and actually there's 3/4 of the lineup from this, Fire on the Tracks on Atlantic and from '79 is on here, and Earl should be playing later in the month. I'm hoping to go see that one. But like I said, really nice shape on this. Gold stamp promo and white label. Well, not white label, but white sticker, excuse me. But I've always liked the Cape Brothers, so I cannot wait to hopefully get that signed too. Another band that, in my opinion, does not get very much recognition. This band made Milwaukee famous, or at least that was what one of their early albums was called. I'll admit, I wish the cover was in better shape, but I grabbed this until I could get a better one. From 1984, from Bad Boy, Electric Eyes. Bad Boy, they got their start in the late '70s. United Artists Records put out 2 really good albums. But, United Artists folded by, I think it was like '78, '79. They made 1 more album, and then this one was their 4th album, okay? This one came from 1984. Here's the front, here's the back. Bad Boy's still going to some degree. Steve Grimm is, he's got that going. He's got the Grimm Brothers, which I've heard bits and pieces of that. Bad Boy, I will also tell you, has a soft spot in my heart for a couple reasons. Number one, they were the first band that I actually interviewed for my show back in 2001. I used to disc jockey WCRX 88.1 Chicago, and Bad Boy was coming into town, and they were nice enough, Steve and Zeno. And Zeno, by the way, original lead singer of Cheap Trick, alright? He was there from '74 to, I think, late '76. I want to say late '76, so the first 2 years. And Zeno came up with the band name, too. But really nice bunch of guys, though. Unfortunately, I was having, how do I say this, mechanical, technical issues with the board. So, it was recorded on tape, but it didn't get to be aired, which really sucked. But I finally got to see these guys in action the next year when they opened up for Ted Nugent at Milwaukee Summerfest. Boy, oh boy, what a band. What a band. If you ever find any Bad Boy stuff, grab it, because you will not be sorry. These next couple, well, yes, I've got these, but these are in way better copies. Late 1966, More of the Monkees. Seriously, these are very clean. They're like near mint copies. I couldn't believe I found that. That one was in mono. I had a way better condition of Pisces Aquarius in stereo. Beautiful, beautiful shapes. So that's what I got from Half Price Book Outlet in Rockford, Illinois. Next album I'm going to go off and show you, I'm very happy about. I got this next one from a record store in McHenry, Illinois called the Vinyl Frontier. His prices are a little but sometimes you can get a deal like I did. I finally got my last original Monkees Cold Gems album, the soundtrack to the 1968 movie Head. $10. That's all this cost me. This thing is in beautiful condition. Very beautiful. Like I said, you got the Mylar. And the other thing that I didn't tell you, most of the shrink's still on it. Original Cold Gems Company sleeve. I'm not going to pull that out. But this is beautiful. Very, very beautiful. I am happy to have this. Now I am looking for Barrel Full of Monkees and Monkees Golden Hits for the compilations, and then I'm also looking for mono copies of Pisces Aquarius and Birds, Bees, and Monkeys, and I'll put that back later. So the other thing is, I got one last thing to show you. I ended up going to a store in Rockford, Illinois called Culture Shock. Really great place. Of course, it says your Culture Shock Records, Gifts, and Clothing. Enjoy the spectacular contents of this glorious package. And you know what? This is a very interesting content in this glorious package. I went with Tim Smith, T-Mex 1959. Him and I and my buddy Scott, we all went over there. And what did Paul end up getting? Well, you know, I went through the 99-cent bins. Nothing fantastic. Last year I got a bunch of stuff. This year I came across an object that was there last year, and it was still there. And sometimes I'll haggle. But this item was originally $37.77. That was the list price. And I got it for $20. I could not pass this up. It basically, I'm going to read this to you. It says, to hell with the devil. It is a promo. Let me see if I can get this out of here for you, because I am a big Striper fan. I am. But it's To Hell with the Devil. Promo. I'm thinking it's a promo EP. This is on gold vinyl. This sucker is real good. It's got the songs Free, Calling on You, and The Rock That Makes Me Roll. I'm sorry guys, but I'm not going to try to pull this out, but the poster, there is a huge To Hell with the Devil band poster. I'll show you that little bit of it, okay? It's all autographed. It is signed by all four original members of Striper. I was really happy to get this thing, but like I said, $20 must have made the day. I think I did very good, guys. And Striper's on the road this fall. Go see them when you can, please. Alright, I'm done with all that bit. New subscribers, I'm not kidding you. It's done really well since the last broadcast. Chris Hansen, the Elvis vinyl guy. Christopher Peterson, that's Chris with a K. Elvis Presley collector. The Q Up. Andy Hall. Nothing Like Vinyl. Digging in the Crate with an 8 instead of ATE. The Dark Stuff, and Nexus 1. All subscribe to the Psycho's Platters video channel. Please do if you haven't already, or at least tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your frenemies all about Psycho's Platters. Wax Museum with Ronnie Dark and Night Owl Lounge, the best Sunday night damn radio shows you're ever going to hear. 6 to 9 p.m. for Ronnie, 9 to 10 p.m. for Night Owl. That's Central Standard Times on those, please. Mike Bolia Remembers Alan Freed, Monday nights. If I remember correctly, it's 7 to 10 or 8 to 11 p.m. Central Standard. Freak Beat with Ken Worth, Spy 107.5 out of Tulsa, 8 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thrifty Music Collectors, Tim Smith and Company, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to be with them. Sorry, the Vinyl Grotto, Doug Fields page, go like that. Shindig, the best damn English rock magazine ever. And lastly, the YouTube Vinyl Community, because without the YouTube Vinyl Community, we would not be able to do these videos. Once again, guys, I love you guys. I love every one of you guys in the VC. You take care. God bless. Rock on. And you know what? And just enjoy the week. I'll see you next time.